We're now going to do page style 4 for our 6x6 mini album in an hour, but we're going to do the interactive pages. So this is page style 4, and we're going to do a waterfall page style for this one. So for this you're going to need one sheet of the 12x12 cardstock, same colour that you've been using all the way through, works well, and 4 sheets of the 6x6 pattern paper. So I'm going to put those to the side for the moment, and we're going to cut this piece of cardstock down to 6 by 10.5. So let's just go ahead and get that trimmed down. So that's my 6 inches. I'm going to put this piece aside because it will come in handy for another time. I need to pull the arm out because we're going to do this by 10.5 inches. Just line it up correctly. So that's my 6 by 10.5 piece. And then I'm going to need another 2 at 6 by 5 inches. So this is where this other half comes in handy. So this is going to be 6 inches, and then I need 2 of these by 5 inches. That's 1, and that's 2. Put those 2 pieces aside. So just lose my paper trimmer. So that's the 3 pieces of cardstock that we've got. So we'll now go ahead and get those scored. So your large piece, if you lay the 10.5 inches at the top, and you're going to score this at 6 inches. So I say use the flat side of your score tool, and I always score on both sides to help break the fibres of the paper down. So that's your 10.5 by 6, that's scored at 6. With these other 2 pieces, if you lay them along the 5-inch side, and you need to score these at 1/2 inch. Now, because I'm working over my hands, I'm going to bring it in this way, so I'm scoring it 4.5. But just take a 1/2 inch score line along the 5-inch top piece. There again, score on both sides. I'm going to do the same again with the second piece. Over and do it again. Okay, now I can bring my mat back in, and we can now start burnishing these score lines down. So give those a good burnish. That's one. So for this page, as I say, we're going to make a waterfall effect. This is just a very quick way of doing a waterfall page. I'm going to use my punch again. I've used the same punch through the whole book. You can use lots of different punches, that works just as well, but I've tried to use the same one to bring some, to make it more uniformed look. So that's why personally I've used the same one, but as I say, it's personal choice and entirely up to you. And what I'm doing now is I'm just going to punch just along the bottom edge of this flap to give a little decorative finish to this. I'm just lining up my bits. I should have done it on the other side because it works better for me being right-handed. But right, so that's that piece, and I've just got this piece this end. I've got a piece of paper there from another project I was working on last night, sorry. Right, so take that out there, move all that rubbish out the way. So that just gives that nice little decorative edge on there. I'm just going to snip that piece because I don't like the way that's looking on there. That's fine. As I say, if you're using punches with your cardstock, make sure you've got a punch that will go through and something that's not too decorative. A lot of the really decorative ones don't like thick cardstock. I'm using coordinations here. I'm going to do the same again on these as well, just to bring, as I say, that uniform look to the page or the layout or the book. And then we can then go ahead and mat on some pattern papers. I'm trying to keep these interactive pages quite simple. A lot of my crafters out there are newbie crafters or non-crafters, so I've kept this quite simple. There's other workshops that I do online that are a bit more complicated, still step by step, still achievable for a newbie crafter, but I'm going to be doing some with some more interactive pages, but I didn't want to frighten my newbie crafters off because I know they're enjoying crafting along with me step by step. So and I think it's great. That's what my whole aim of this was, to inspire people to craft that hadn't crafted before, and I'm so pleased that that's what I'm being able to achieve. Right, so that's those three. So I'm going to put my punch to one side now. Don't need that anymore. So we can now go ahead and assemble the pages here for this. So this is going to come up like a uniformed waterfall. So it's got the score line. So, and then these can lay on. I'm just laying it all out to see how my pages look when they're laid out. Yeah, so that's how they're going to look when they're laid out. So you've got a nice waterfall effect on there. Okay, I'm going to leave the bottom plain because this is going to be the back of our 6x6 page, and this needs to then go into the album. So I'm leaving that quite plain. So I'll go ahead and get these attached. Now we've done the score line on our pages, so we now need to put some double-sided tape or wet glue on the back. I'm going to use double-sided here today. This one goes right up to the edge, so I'm probably going to have to put a couple of layers on here. Just getting my craft knife to pull that off. These waterfall pages are quite quick to do. I know there is more difficult ways to make a waterfall page, but this is the way that I find is quick and easy to do, easy to explain, and also won't put a lot of, as I say, newbie crafters off. So, you know, in my mind, why make things complicated when you can make them as easy as possible? So that's the front of my first tag or tab. We folded it there, and I've got my double-sided tape just on the back. Now I'm going to line this just shy of the top. Don't put it right on the hinge, otherwise that one won't lay flat. Line it up so they're in line there, and then just with your bone folder, just burnish over where you've got the score tape. So then that lays down, and then that one comes up as well. Okay, and then we're going to do the same with the next one, and we're going to put it up against here. So tape along again. As I say, you can use adhesive of your choice, whether you want to use wet, tape runner. I'm using a mixture of all sorts on this album. I've used my tape runner, I've used some wet glue, I'm using some double-sided tape. So just go with what you feel comfortable with. That's what I always say. So that's two lots on there. It's only because my double-sided finger lift isn't wide enough. Need to pull that off there. That's it. When you do that, if you've got any little tab ends, just push those in. That's absolutely fine. And we're going to do the same again with this one. We're going to lay it up in line with that one, at the line with the sides, and then I'll just get my bone folder again and burnish those lines. So that's the waterfall page. So we can now go ahead and decorate this now. I've picked this pattern to go on the top, so I just need to measure this because I like to have a little bit of a gap all the way around. So this needs to measure 4. So I'm going to take it, so I've got this decorative bottom piece on here, and then I need to take a little piece off each side. So I'm going not a 1/4 of an inch. It's going to be a 1/4 of an inch in total if you're using a piece of paper that's plain, or I'm going 1/8 of an inch on each side. So that will then fit on there nicely, and I've also got a gap all the way around. I think I'm going to round my corners on that as well, just to give that a nice finished look. That hasn't cornered that one very well. I need to empty my corner punch. Right, so that's going to fit nicely on there, and then I need to cut my others just a little bit bigger. Now you can cut them the same size and keep that piece there plain, because I'm going to keep my mats up this side plain, because when it's laying down you don't actually see it. You could cover those if you wish, but I'm not going to today, so I might just keep it, just stick it to there, or I might cover over, I might go over actually. So that's a good 1/4 of an inch, so I'm going to need to go 4 1/2 on the next one. So let's bring in, I have this one for the next one, so let's go 4 1/2. And because I haven't got a uniformed one this time, I can just take that 1/4 of an inch off. Just check that's the right width. Yes, happy with that. Round those corners off. What I will have to do now on this one is then do a score line, because obviously I've got the score line here to consider as well. So I will have to do a score line. So that's that one. And then it's the same with the next one. In fact, that's going to be the same size, so that's going to be 4 1/2. So let's bring this one in, that's going to be 4 1/2 as well. And that 1/4 of an inch off. And then I can round those ends. So I need to score these. And then the last one I won't need to score. Let's just see what size I need for the last one. And I need that same size. Now I'm going to need it a little bit bigger on this last one. I think that needs to be 4 3/4. So let's try that. Now this is an embossed paper, which my trimmer is now starting to play up. That's it. I'll just take that little 1/4 of an inch off the side as well. And I'm going to round the bottom on this one as well. And then we can start getting that stuck down. So let's start at the bottom. I think it's the best thing to do. So this one's going to go on here. So I'll just use my tape runner here for quickness. As I said, I've not inked any of the edges through this album because I'm giving it quite a clean look. But the choice is entirely up to yours, up to you, and it obviously there again depends on the paper collection you're using, whether it needs an inking on or not. Now, these next two I need to put a score line in. So let's just move my mat and put a score line in these two. I'm not going to do a full 1/2 inch. I'm going to go for the notch just before the 1/2 inch on my score pal. So it's not a 1/4 of an inch and it's not a 1/2 inch, it's the one that's in between. This just means when obviously I've scored the cardstock, so the waterfall page will turn, but now I'm adding the paper all the way up as well. I need that to be able to have that same movement as well. So that's why I'm doing this. If you didn't want to take your paper up that high, you don't have to then add that score line. That's personally your choice, but I'm just going to take it to there. So I'm just going to burnish that score line because that's going to go on there. So I'm going to now put my tape runner all the way over here, going both sides of that score line because obviously it's got to adhere to that. A bit on my mat there, rub that off. going to do is I'm going to bend where the score line is and just lay it onto the paper there, and then push that over. Okay, so just give that a burnish either side of there so that's stuck. So then that still allows that page to open. I'm going to burnish that again on that side because now I've got double the thickness. That just means that waterfall then will work. I'm going to do the same again on this one. So bring that over and burnish that, and then add my tape. Oh. As I say, I'm not putting tape on the back of these waterfall pages, and I'm using a textured cardstock, but I'm actually leaving the plain side on the inside, so you could write your journaling on there. And I know a lot of people don't like the handwriting. It is nice to see your handwriting on your journaling, because if you're passing this on, you know, it's nice that it's got your personal touch on it. So by having the journaling here, you're hiding it, so not everybody can see it, but it's still there as a personal touch. So that's why I think it's quite nice. So I've used the plain side on the inside and the textured side on the outside. So this is the last piece to go on the top. So I'll fit that on the top of there. Okay, so that's our waterfall page. I'm not going to put any magnets on this because it just lays quite alright as it is, because there's quite a lot of weight, you know, holding that down. So that's the waterfall page. That's page 4 of the interactive pages to go in our 6x6 mini album in an hour. So if you'd like to follow the next video, I'm going to show you 2 pocket pages to put on the inside of the album. This is the inside of the album here. So as we've got lots of interaction that's going to be going on these pages, I thought we'd put a little bit of interaction on the 2 cover pages as well. So if you'd like to watch the next video, there's a click link at the top, and then you can see how we're going to make the pages for that. So see you in a minute. I'm Dawn from Dawn's Inspirations.